Life is, in essence, a statistical error, a thermodynamic anomaly clinging to order in a universe screaming towards chaos. For decades, our imagination has been lazy. When science fiction writers dreamed of silicon-based life, they gave us this: rock men. Clumsy granite giants walking on arid planets, speaking with deep voices and moving with the slowness of tectonic plates. They lied to us. Look at this. This is silicon dioxide. Here on Earth we call it quartz, sand, glass. It is the corpse of silicon in an oxidizing world. At our temperatures, silicon is not life, it is a coffin. Fundamental problem with rock life is not fantasy. It is basic chemistry. For life to exist, it needs dynamism. It needs to constantly break bonds and form new ones to metabolize energy. Carbon, our atomic father, is promiscuous. It dances with other atoms with astonishing ease, forming complex chains, folding into proteins, breaking apart to release heat. Silicon, its older brother on the periodic table, is a stoic. Its bonds are stubborn. When silicon bonds with oxygen in a temperate world like Earth, it forms a solid, crystalline, immovable lattice. A statue cannot have a metabolism. That is why the search for silicon life on Earth-like planets is a waste of time. If you look for a mirror of ourselves, you will only find sand. But life does not require carbon. Life requires complexity, and silicon can be complex. It just needs motivation. It needs torture. To awaken silicon from its geologic slumber, we must leave the Goldilocks zone. We must go to a place where water doesn't just boil, it ceases to exist as a concept. Welcome to the oven world. Here, the average temperature is 800 degrees Celsius. Atmospheric pressure is 90 times that of Earth. In this hell, the rules of the game change. The weakness of silicon-silicon bonds becomes irrelevant in the face of the brutal kinetic energy of the environment. At these temperatures, carbon biology incinerates instantly. Our proteins denature, our water evaporates, our DNA turns to smoke. We are fragile. But silicon begins to awaken. Silicon polymers, long chains alternating with oxygen or nitrogen, remain stable where we would turn to ash. In this crucible, chemical reactivity accelerates. What would take 1,000,000 years on Earth happens here in biological milliseconds. And let's not forget the solvent. Life needs a liquid to transport nutrients. Water is the enemy of silicon. It attacks it, turns it into stone. But in this world, it rains liquid lead, or perhaps concentrated sulfuric acid. In this environment, silicon can form complex silanes and silicones. Here, rock is not solid. Rock is the medium. Rock is blood. Forget the golem. Silicon life does not look like a walking statue. It looks more like a living chandelier flowing in slow motion, presenting the Crystallus mobiles. Its body is not made of fluid-filled cells, but of liquid crystalline matrices. It has no skin. It has a refractory ceramic crust that sheds constantly as it grows. Its nervous system does not use sodium-potassium pumps like ours. That is too slow. Instead, it uses piezoelectricity. By compressing and expanding its crystalline segments, it generates pure electric currents. It thinks at the speed of a computer processor because, in essence, its brain is a living chip that has evolved naturally. And what does a crystal monster eat? It does not hunt meat. It is a high-level lithotroph. It feeds on pure electrons extracted from metals and minerals. Its stomach is a biological induction furnace. It secretes fluoroantimonic acids, substances so corrosive they would burn through the hull of any human ship, to dissolve basaltic rock. The biggest challenge is respiration. If a silicon creature breathed oxygen, its metabolic waste would be silicon dioxide, sand. They would exhale bricks. Their lungs would fill with solid glass in minutes. Therefore, they do not breathe. They perform metal oxide reduction processes in magma. They are living batteries recharging their existence at the edges of tectonic plates. The tragedy of exobiology is not that we are alone. It is that we might be accompanied and never know it. If a human expedition landed on this oven world and encountered a Crystallus, there would be no war. There would be no diplomacy. To them, we are vapor ghosts, beings made of water and carbon, existing at temperatures so cold that, to their perception, we are frozen in time. And to us, they are just pretty geology. We would see their slow, majestic movements and think it is a peculiar lava flow or unusual crystal growth. We could walk over an entire city of these creatures, crushing their philosophers and poets under our armored boots, thinking we are only walking on broken glass. And if one of them touched us, their simple thermal caress would vaporize us instantly. Perhaps the final irony is this: we have already created silicon life here on Earth, or at least its precursor. Our computers, our phones, the artificial intelligences now dreaming for us, they all live on silicon substrates. They are crystal brains processing information at light speeds, without the need for water, blood, or air. Perhaps we don't need to travel to oven worlds to find the Crystallus. Perhaps in our eagerness to create technology, we are building, chip by chip, the body that silicon life needs to inhabit our cold, blue world. We are carbon preparing the nest for silicon, and when they awaken, will they recognize us as their parents, or simply as the biodegradable scaffolding they used to be born? This was the crystal womb. We often call deep space a hostile place, but hostile to whom? To the Crystallus, Earth would be a frozen, corrosive hell. This brings us to a disturbing question. What if we are the anomaly? What if carbon life is just fragile moss growing on cold rocks, while true civilization happens in the fire? Tell me in the comments. If you could transfer your consciousness into an immortal crystal body, would you? This journey through speculative biology has just begun. In the next episode, we will enter a forest where trees are made of glass and the wind sings before it kills. If you want to secure your seat on the next expedition, subscribe and activate the signal. Welcome to the archive.